I've warmed up. I'm ready to use this multi-gym. I've had the go-ahead from my doctor. Now all I need is Matt, the head physio from Cyclone, to show me the ropes.
Brilliant. Well, I'm really glad to hear that you've got your clearance from the doctor. It's really important to get that medical clearance before you engage in any activity like this.
Yeah.
What I'd also suggest is that you make sure that you get an assessment or a consultation with either a physio, rehabilitator or conditioner so that they can design you a really specific programme that's going to keep it fun, but it's really going to target what you want to get out of it. Okay, so Johnny, you told me you'd warmed up.
Yep.
Let me know exactly what you've done.
Well, basically I've pumped my arms, I've done some shadow boxing, I've rolled forwards, I've rolled backwards. I've tried to get my upper body really warm.
Good. You're doing exactly the right kind of things.
Yeah.
The really key target with the warm-up is get the blood pumping around your body,
Yeah.
increasing your temperature, getting you ready to use the machine and minimising the risk of injury.
Yeah.
The only thing I'd really add to what you've been talking about there is just adding some really dynamic stretches onto your chest muscles, to your back muscles and around your shoulders, just to make sure that everything is really nicely stretched and there's going to be an absolute minimal risk of you getting hurt when you're using this.
What do you suggest I do?
For your chest, just simply arm swings out in front of you, trying to come as far behind you as you can, really stretching all your muscles out. That's absolutely perfect. Okay. Then if you're coming up and over your shoulder, so you're just reaching down behind your back, so you're stretching out your shoulder joint, your triceps muscle, your lats down the side, everything is getting really nice and warm.
Right. Yeah, that feels good actually.
So for today, we're just going to go through the different apparatus that we can use within the multi-gym.
Yep.
I'm going to show you a few different exercises that you can do with each one and how you can adapt them to target different muscles and just to keep things a little bit more varied and interesting.
Okay, where do we start?
We're going to start off on the lat pull-down machine here.
Brilliant.
So I can see you've already set the weight when you've set this machine up previously.
Yep.
Are you happy with the weight you've set there?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm
Okay.
ready for that.
So it's really important that we set the weight correctly so that it's going to be working our muscles, but we're not having to overstrain to shift the weights in the position.
Yeah.
So to perform the lat pull down, what I'd like you to do, we're going to start off with a wide grip. So we're going to come onto the black handles here.
Yep.
We're going to sit yourself up nice and straight so you're engaging your tummy muscles.
Yep.
And then you're working your muscles at the back here, as well as pulling down underneath your arms to draw the bar down in front of your chest. And then you're going to relax back up slowly to just before when your arms get fully extended. So you're keeping the tension on your muscles all the time. Very good. Now a lot of people with this exercise like to pull the bar down behind their head. I would strongly advise you not to do that because that puts a lot of strain on the front of your neck and it can also put your shoulders under a lot of strain as well.
How many of these do you think I should do, Matt?
Generally you want to be looking at doing about 10 to 12 reps, and when you're getting on to the last ones they're starting to become a little bit of a struggle. You're starting to feel those muscles having worked quite hard. We can then use a number of sets in the exercise. To begin with, we just do it once, and then as your body slowly adapts to the effects of the strengthening exercise, we can increase that so you're performing more and more exercise.
Cool. And how important is breathing whilst doing this?
Breathing's very important. We need to make sure that you're keeping your natural breathing rhythm going. You're not holding your breath and overstraining. This goes together with the weight that you're lifting.
Okay.
You need to be able to make sure that you are breathing nice and smoothly. As you're pulling down, you're breathing out, and as you're static, you breathe in and then breathe out again as you release. Various adaptations we can make to this exercise.
Okay.
We can come for a narrow grip,
Yep.
so straight in front of your head, pulling down. So just
Like
try,
this?
just like that. So just try.
Thumbs over or under the bar?
Bring it around underneath so you're gripping. So this is an excellent exercise to really work on your hand.
Okay.
This targets your biceps,
Yeah.
and it also makes those lats work in a slightly different place.
Okay.
So just like you to pull down to a similar level you pulled to before, trying to draw those elbows backwards, keeping them tight into your body, just pulling them down. Very good. Okay, and then slowly relax that back up. There's a lot more adaptations that we can make to this exercise.
Yeah.
We can put on an alternate grip, so
Right.
that we've got one hand forward, one hand back.
Okay.
So you can imagine that's just working those muscles slightly differently.
Okay, yeah.
And we can also replace this bar
Yes.
with the single handle,
Okay.
and we can work some single-handed exercises.
Right,
So I'm just
yeah.
going to, if you'd like to just unclip that for me,
Sure. It's really easy actually.
and if you can just pop that down on the floor next to you,
Yeah.
that's good. And if you can reach forwards, just unclip that handle.
What's good is that, you know, I'll be able to do this all by myself as well. It's all really simple. Okay.
Okay, so with this exercise, what we're basically going to do is a very similar method to what we did before, but you're just going to have your hand in front of you, and you're just going to pull down, keeping that elbow in. So for this, because we're using one arm, it's probably going to be necessary to reduce the weight a little bit to stop you working too hard. Okay, so we're reaching for a single arm pull down.
Yep.
reaching with your overhand grip,
Okay.
and you're just going to pull it down, keeping that elbow tucked into your side,
Right.
and just working on that one arm. Very good. Now this single arm exercise is very, very good because it makes your stomach work as well as just the latissimus dorsi at the back here.
I can really feel it, yeah. It's really good. It's helping my core as well.
Excellent. Okay, and then you can adapt this exercise by turning your hand around and do a reverse grip, and again bringing that elbow down, and you feel how this further works your bicep a little bit more, but it's still working really hard within your core muscles. Okay, so a final adaptation for this exercise is a pull over from the front. So what I'm going to get you to do is just turn onto your side.
Okay.
And again, apply your brakes. So you're going to reach over your head with your left arm, and you're just going to pull down and out to the side.
Yeah, can you spot me on this?
Yep. So I'm just going to add a little bit of a press as we pull down. So we're going to move on to the vertical butterfly now.
Amazing.
Okay.
Right.
So can I get you just to remove the handle off there?
Yeah.
And just clip it back into place on here just for later so it's out of the way.
Okay.
Good. So we're going to need to remove the leg lock from here.
Okay. Right, so
That's great.
Pop that out.
So I'll just take that off here and just pop it back in its bracket for the time being.
Thanks.
So you're reversing back, so you're nicely against that pad at the back there.
Yeah.
And you're just going to apply your brakes.
Okay. It feels really secure here.
Good. So for this exercise, we can adapt the positioning of these to put a different amount of stretch on your chest muscles. So to begin with, we're just going to stay nice and close, just so it's nice and easy and there's not too much of a stretch on it.
Okay.
What I'd like you to do is roll your shoulders backwards and have your arms out to the side at about 90 degrees.
Is that okay?
That's perfect. Controlled motion, we're going to bring your hands together. And then relax it back. Okay, so we can see there that that movement's actually very, very easy for you. It's not putting any stretch onto your chest at all.
Yeah.
So what we can do is increase the stretch by moving these pads backwards.
Okay.
So if you just want to move them back to about the 5th hole, that's it. And the same the other side. Very good. And then again, rolling those shoulders backwards, arms out to 90 degrees, and then bringing those arms forwards. That's it, and relax it out gently, and back again. So just slow down that release a little bit, so you're just working those muscles as they're lengthening out. Do you feel how that's a little bit more difficult when you go slowly? It's just doing one arm at a time. So similar to the pull down, using that one arm really makes your core muscles work very, very hard to keep your body in alignment as you're doing the exercise. Okay, so the other thing that we can do with this butterfly is turn around and work on the back of the shoulders.
Okay.
It's going to oppose that tension that we're getting in the chest.
Right.
So I'd like you to come out and spin around for me.
Okay.
Okay, and we need to come as close to the edge there as we can. Pop the brakes on, and then pull this pad towards you. If you find that you can't get close enough with this small pad, we can replace it with the larger one here that's just going to come onto your chest.
Okay.
Okay, but that one looks like it's going to be in an okay position for you actually. So we're going to try and move these pads around to this end point here, just so that we're bringing your arms from as far around as we can.
This forward this way?
Yep, so move it away from you and clip it into the furthest one away. Okay, just make sure that one on the far side is clipped in just like that.
Yep.
Okay, so for this one, we're going to lean forwards so that your chest is on here, and we're going to bring your arms so that your elbows are against the pad, and you're just going to try and pull backwards. So with this exercise, I want you to work really hard with these muscles in your back. That's excellent. So trying to pull your shoulder blades backwards and downwards, as well as bringing your arms backwards with these muscles. So this is a very, very effective exercise in stretching out the chest muscles at the front here, which are very, very tight in most people, and then making the muscles at the back here much, much stronger. This is going to help dramatically with your posture, keeping you up in a much, much straighter position, and it's going to help you breathe more effectively, and it's going to make your transfers, pushing your wheelchair, and everything much, much more easy for you.
That's a really good exercise. I can feel that working already.
Excellent. Okay, so we've finished with this component now. we're going to work on to the chest press. That looks a reasonable height to me. Okay, we just need to push those handles in so they're in front of you. And what I'd like you to do is just grip onto the handles, and you're just going to try and push forwards, starting from a nice position there, so with your elbows nice and high, trying to straighten your arms out, and then relax back gently. Good. So just perform a couple of exercises with that. So this is a brilliant exercise to get your chest muscles really nicely developed, but you're going to keep control of those shoulder blades at the back so that you're not bringing yourself around too much. And as you've changed the positioning of your hand there, that's an interesting way of just changing the direction and the angle of the muscles that they're working there. So you should feel that a little bit more in your triceps as opposed to your chest muscles you may have done before. Very good. Now, as we did on the butterfly, I'd like you to now just try and push with one arm. So bring them back, and you're going to try and push one arm out, and back, and the other side. Now again, this is making your abdominal muscles work as well, so further helping with control of your body whilst you're performing the exercise. Try not to go too quickly with those exercises, keep them nice and slow and controlled. Now while we're in this position as well, we can also do a kind of a dip type exercise. Okay, we'll probably turn you around to do that. Okay, so if you just spin your chair around, bear in mind that it gets a little bit easier to push yourself out if you push those handles out. Okay. We're going to need to bring this down. Yep. So that it's just a little bit lower to begin with.
How much lower?
Okay, so we're going to perform a dip.
Okay.
Now, this is an excellent exercise to help you with transferring, with pushing in your wheelchair, but it means you've got to be very, very careful with this one because you're actually going to lift yourself up out of your seat.
Ooh, exciting.
Okay?
Yeah.
So what I'd like you to do is just bring your chair forwards a little bit more, just to there, and then apply your brakes.
Okay.
And I want you to just slide your bum forward slightly on your chair, just so that you're making sure that your body weight is in front of your axle and you're not going to tip out backwards.
Right.
Okay?
Yep.
We're going to slide these bars inwards.
Okay.
And I want you to take a nice wide grip.
Wide grip, okay.
And then just push upwards and forwards to lift yourself up. And then relax.
Okay, wait, let me do that again.
So don't go up too far. So, I just want you to slightly just push through your arms to lift your bum out your chair and then down.
That's a good exercise.
That's good. Okay, so you look like you've got pretty good control there, but just as a word of warning, I wouldn't recommend that exercise at all if you're completely on your own and you haven't got anybody there to spot you.
Yeah, sure, that was tough.
Okay, good. So we're going to go on to some rowing now.
Yep.
So what we need to do is, again, push these handles out and then slip off this short pad from there. Okay, so we need to replace it with this longer one. So if I take that out the way for the time being, so we'll just pop this to the side. Get that one off. So slide that in.
Okay.
Give it an extra little push just to make sure it clips into place. Okay, so again we need to bring these handles into the centre. Okay, so for the row, you're going to push your chest into the pad, you're going to keep your back nice and straight, and you're going to draw your arms backwards, trying to pull your elbows in behind you. So imagine there's a piece of rope attached to your elbows, pulling backwards and into the middle. That's it, good. So you're keeping these shoulder blades nicely set the whole time that you're doing it. Okay, and then as an adaptation to this exercise, you can also just do single arm again. So you're just bringing that back. And again, this makes your obliques work really, really well and stops you dropping down to a side, which you should feel them working quite strongly. So the last things we've got to go through are the mid-level pulley and the lower level pulley. Now these are really, really good connections to use for bicep curls, for triceps exercises, for working your abdominals. Definitely going to help with any activities of daily living and also just help with transfers and general function. Okay. So what we'll do first is some rotator cuff work using the mid-level pulley. Okay. So we need to take this out. So, for rotator cuff exercises, we're basically working on rotations.
Right.
Okay. So in the early stages, we're just going to work with your arm down by your side. So we use the mid-level pulley for this.
Yep.
Now, because we're working much smaller muscles, we need to lower the weight down.
Okay, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you want to just drop that down to probably just one plate?
Oh, hang on. Before I do that, I need to move this forward in order to raise the cable tension.
Okay. So we're working nice light weights, and then I need you to turn side on.
Yep.
First of all, work on internal rotation. So you're going to hold the strap down, having your elbow into your side,
Yep.
and you're basically going to try and rotate outwards and inwards.
Yep.
Again, keeping these shoulder blades nicely set. You should feel that working right around your shoulder and in your chest here a little bit. So you're keeping that nice, slow, controlled rhythm as you're doing it. Really slow release back. So you're making those muscles work extra hard. And then for external rotation exercises, we're going to swap hands, elbow into your side, and you're going to try and rotate outwards this time. Making sure that elbow stays in nice and tight, and your arm stays at 90 degrees and doesn't straighten at all. How does that feel?
Good. Nice and smooth.
Okay, so bring your elbows in, and you're basically coming from up here, trying to straighten down. Okay, so this works just nice and easily in the mid-range of your triceps. So it's quite a nice early stage exercise just to work relatively low level. You can do this as well with one arm. So you can come across to the side a little bit more. And again, this is making your abdominals work well. And you can also do this with your hands the other way around. Very good. Okay, so just try with both hands together, facing the other way. Bring your elbows in, and then you're trying to pull down there. Again, very mid-range, nice easy exercise for your triceps. How does that feel?
Good. It's hard.
So once you've got confident with this exercise, we can progress on
Yep.
by turning around.
Yep.
That's good.
All right.
Yep, that's no problem at all.
Okay.
That's nice and firm. Good. So if you spin yourself around, press it in, and then brakes on. Okay. So you're reaching over your head, hands together, and you're just trying to straighten your arms out, keeping your elbows locked as close together as they can be. That's it. So keep that elbow fixed, pushing forwards. Good. And then again, you can reverse your hand grip.
Yeah, not with this weight, I can't.
Okay, so this one's a lot more difficult. It's working your wrist extensors as well. So it's making you keep that wrist in a really straightened position.
Oh, that's a really amazing exercise. Wow. Oh, switch on.
So same again with the reps on these. We're looking for 10 to 12, starting to get quite difficult towards the last 1 or 2 reps. Try and really bend that elbow back so you bring it right back to your head.
Can I
Good.
help my hand?
Yeah, you can help it if you need to.
Okay.
So there's 2 different types of tricep exercises
They
that
were
are
tough.
really useful to strengthen up the back of your
They
arm.
were really good for the triceps.
Now, whilst we're in this position, we're going to go on and do a couple of abdominal exercises. So the first one is going to be using that mid-level pulley with your hands on top of your head,
Yep.
and then using your tummy muscles to just try and curl forwards as far as you can.
Okay. Oh, I can really feel the crunch there.
That's very good. So a really nice, slow, controlled motion. No working overly with your arms. It's all coming from your tummy. Very good. Okay, and relax that back gently.
That feels really good.
Good.
For people with core, fantastic exercise.
Good. So I'm going to show you a couple of other abdominal exercises. This one's going to be what you'd commonly known as a wood chuck.
A wood chuck chuck.
So we're going to come out of the machine and turn onto your side.
Okay.
Okay, so to do this exercise, I'm just going to quickly adjust the weight just to bring it down a little bit. And you're going to hold it in a clasp grip with the other hand, and you're going to come from an elevated position on one side, twisting your body, keeping your arms straight. So this is making your oblique muscles and your abdominals work very, very hard.
Very hard indeed.
That's good. We can also do a more just straight rotation type exercise as well, by just keeping your hands at the same level as you just come around. So you're really trying to use those tummy muscles to bring yourself around.
Oh, cool, blimey.
Now these exercises are very, very effective at stabilising your core, which is going to help with your posture in your wheelchair, but it's also going to help with transfers and all aspects of daily living. Very good. Now those wood chucks, we can also perform them on the lower pulley as well. So instead of coming from a top position downwards, we're coming from a lower position upwards. Do you feel how you're working slightly different muscles to make that action work?
Yep.
Last exercise I'm going to show you is just work for your biceps.
Okay.
Okay. Now these ones, we all like to have big biceps,
Do we?
but it's also quite good for lifting activities,
Yeah.
loading your wheelchair into your car, anything where you're going to be pulling things around.
I agree.
Okay. So what we can do is either just a static curl,
Yes.
or we can do what's called a preacher curl.
Should we try a preacher curl?
We can do a preacher curl first.
Yeah.
So we've replaced the back pad that we had inserted in here with the leg guard that we used for the lat pull downs earlier, but instead of pinning it down onto his legs, we're going to use it as a preacher bench. So Johnny's going to come in here now and apply your brakes in there for me, and then just reach down to grab the lower level pulley there and just rest your elbow onto the bench there, and all you're going to do is use that fixation there to perform a bicep curl. This is an excellent way of fixing your upper arm, so you're isolating the bicep from working and not using any other muscles to compensate for the acting. Very good. And remember to go onto the other side as well.
Wow.
So obviously we can also perform a bicep curl without using this as a preacher bench.
Yeah.
We just perform it in exactly the same way. We just don't have this in to fix your elbows.
Okay.
The lower level pulley there with one arm.
Yep.
You're going to use your free arm just to brace on your knee so that you're not falling forwards.
Yes.
And you're just going to try and curl that arm up. Very nice control. And to make this even more specific to your biceps muscle, you can add in a rotation with your forearm as you come up. So as you come down, you're bringing your fist forwards and then rotating up. And you should feel how that gets a little bit more difficult to perform. So I hope that's given you a good overview of the different exercises that we can perform using the Evolution 6000. Have you enjoyed it, Johnny?
I've really enjoyed it. It's been very, very good indeed. Thank you. And I hope you guys enjoy it too.